Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Black Logic. So we're going to take a look at Trump's latest trade war move where he's threatening to impose a 200% tariff on French champagne and other EU liquors and spirits. Now, this comes in response to the European Union planned 50% tariff on American whiskey. Again, we're in a very international trade war with a lot of our allies and partners. And this could spark a major economic battle between the US and Europe. Now we're going to shift to the escalating Russia-Ukraine war, where Russia has presented a list of demands to the US that must be met before any peace deal can be reached. Putin has ordered the swift expulsion of Ukrainian forces from occupied regions before engaging in negotiations. He said, all of the Ukrainian soldiers must leave these regions in order for us to continue these negotiations. But the Ukrainian President Zelenskyy warns that Russia is only trying to prolong the war, with a Kremlin aide suggesting any ceasefire will be just a temporary break before resuming attacks. And on the immigration front, ICE has shut down the Guantanamo migrant facility and moved all detainees to stateside detention centers. And what does this mean for the U.S. immigration system altogether? Are we going to then deport them back to their original countries? And then we're going to examine the financial markets, where we're going to talk about gold, silver, as well as some silver dollars. Again, these are some of the news stories we're going to touch on. But first, President Trump has issued a stern warning to the European Union. He has been threatening to impose a 200% tariff on French champagne and other European alcoholic beverages. This aggressive stance comes in direct response to the EU's proposed 50% tariff on American whiskey, which would itself a retaliation against U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. Trump emphasized that such measures will bolster the U.S. wine spirits industry, potentially shielding it from European competition. The only thing that this is going to happen is that America is, one, going to pay these very hefty tariffs, or two, America is going to go to the old way, where we were creating our own products and we were doing major exports to these other countries, because things that were made in America was sturdy built. They were very sound when built when it comes to the construction of a lot of these items. So look for that as well. America may start to manufacture and distribute a lot of those things that we once did before. Now, the escalating trade tensions has already begun to ripple through global markets. European stock indices, including Germany DAX and France CAC 40, experienced notable declines following the announcement. Now, the prospect of a full-blown trade war has investors on edge, with concerns mounting over the broader economic implications. Now, this is a very huge story because we've been in this war for quite some time, and hopefully that we can get out of this war when it comes to Ukraine and Russia.
Canada ahead of that G7 meeting. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Jackie, good afternoon. Well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is on his way to the G7 foreign ministers meeting hosted here in Charleroi, Canada. Now, this is amid talks here of a potential breakthrough in the Ukraine-Russia war. Now, Secretary Rubio is traveling from Saudi Arabia, where both the U.S. and Ukraine agreed to a 30-day ceasefire proposal that is now being presented to Russia. Now, President Trump has expressed optimism that there will be meetings today, and optimism that Russia could agree to this ceasefire in a matter of days, and that he and
we have to give a little bit of respect and tribute to President Donald Trump, because this is something that he has been doing, working in the back, trying to come to a ceasefire, trying to come to a peace treaty between Ukraine and Russia, something that President Biden could not do. They didn't respect Biden. Biden wasn't tough. He didn't try to impose all these sanctions and tariffs. Well, he did do a couple of sanctions. Let me digress. He did do a couple of sanctions. But in the midst of these sanctions, President Biden was not trying to foster these ceasefire deals. But again, there's a lot of things to talk about when we talk about Ukraine and Russia altogether, because this is very, very important to the American economy, as we've been forking over billions of dollars, $350 billion and counting, to support Ukraine. Because Russia has presented the United States with a set of demands aimed at resolving the ongoing conflict. between them and Ukraine. Now, amongst these stipulations are the demilitarization of Ukraine, assurances that Ukraine will not pursue NATO membership. Again, President Putin is trying to keep Ukraine out of NATO because he understands if Ukraine enters NATO, he's going to have all the European nations as well as the United States of America for their backing and support when it comes to war. And the recognition of the Crimea and other contested regions are Russian territory. He said, these are our territories. These are demands that we must meet even before we talk, because these conditions underscore Russia's intent to reassert its influence over its neighboring country. I wonder if President Putin is trying to reconstruct and revamp the Soviet Union, because currently President Putin has ordered a swift and decisive expulsion of all Ukrainian forces from key contested areas, signaling a reluctance to engage in peace talks without significant concessions from Ukraine. So the Kremlin strategy and its strategic approach to solidify its territorial gains before considering any diplomatic resolutions. They say, well, we already kind of took over these lands of Ukraine, and we can't talk if you're talking about giving up this land. We're not giving up this land. Of course, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy has criticized Russia's actions, accusing Moscow of seeking to prolong the war. And Zelenskyy argues that the proposed ceasefire served merely as temporary respites for the Ukrainian forces, rather than genuine steps towards peace. And President Zelensky's stance reflects a deep skepticism of Russia's intentions and a determination to resist external pressures that may compromise Ukraine's sovereignty. So again, still in the thick of it, and I've stated this before, that it seems as though Russia wants to take over certain parts of Ukraine. The same rare earth minerals that Ukraine has, Russia has as well. But again, this is, in my opinion, this is about military strategic positioning, where they're going to be so far inland that they're going to be a threat to all those neighboring countries like Poland, Belarus, etc., Romania, all those countries that surround Ukraine, and they also border Russia to a certain degree. So again, Ukraine is already a small country. And again, with this particular peace talk, President Putin, he may just be waiting for Donald Trump to get out of office. He said, you know what? We can entertain some of these negotiations. We can entertain some of these talks, but the land that we've already seized and contested, Ukraine has to retrograde all of their forces, and then we can have these peace negotiation talks. Then again, there's no assurances, Ukraine. This is one president trying to make peace just as well as he did back in 2016, 2017, nonetheless. But when Donald Trump leaves office, as this is his second term, I hope you fortifying your positions. I hope you are getting supplies, because you may be at war again in the next 3 or 4 years. It is what it is. But at least we can have peace for now. At least we can have peace for now, because this is what he's talking about. He wants all of their forces out of the contested areas that Russia has already took control of. But again, they're believing that he is trying to prolong the war. Now, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency has announced the transfer of all migrants from the Guantanamo Bay facility to stateside location. And this marks a very significant shift in the handling of migrants and reflects ongoing efforts to address humanitarian concerns associated with detention practices. This move aims to provide better access to legal resources and more humane condition for those seeking asylum or facing deportation. I'm surprised that they didn't take him from Guantanamo Bay to the El Salvador prison, because again, he's offered all this prison space for immigrants. He's provided all this prison space for all the people that we can send there, even American citizens who have done some of the most heinous and deadliest crimes. So again, they're clearing out Guantanamo Bay. And this is something that Obama should have done. Obama was behind, we're going to close Guantanamo Bay. Like that was his big thing. And it never was closed. I think I gave a report about a month ago where reports had it was still roughly around 20 to 22 people still detained in jail, in prison at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. So again, they're now sending all these immigrants that were in Guantanamo Bay back to stateside because of humane conditions. No, they may send them to El Salvador, but I'll keep you guys updated. If you're new to Black Logic, please hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you are aware every time I go live or post a video. Most important thing on the scene here is gold. Gold, 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 gold. Because as we turn to the financial markets, gold is trading near record levels as investors flock to the precious metals amid hopes for interest rate cuts and jitters over escalating tariffs. The metals appeal as a safe haven asset because it has bolstered by the current economic climate. Because with market participants seeking stability in uncertain times, a lot of these analysts are suggesting that if trade tensions persist and central banks adopt more dovish monetary policies, gold prices could continue their upward trajectory. Who amongst you all invest in gold and silver? Gold, silver, palladium, iridium, a lot of these precious metals, copper. I see Volvo. Good morning to Volvo. Good morning to Ricky Manor as well as DT Point. Let's talk about it because there's different forms of currency. Let me show you some things here I bought from Apex. Okay. Now, this may look like a regular dollar. Okay. But if I'm gonna bring it in closer, it said this certificate is legal tender for all debts, public and private. This is not a $1 bill. This is what they call a silver certificate in the form of a $1 bill. It says $1 in silver, payable to the bearer on demand. Again, this represents silver because this was easier to carry. Now I'll show you guys. Can you see that? Read right at, hope like that focusing. I don't want to take it out. It's plastic, but you can see that. Okay. And then on the back of it, it looks regular. Okay. And I bought this from Apex. Okay. As you can see the SKU number right here. But nonetheless, that's what you call a silver dollar. Okay. A silver dollar. Now, I know a lot of you people who deal with precious metals, you're going to be mad at me because I do not have my gloves. I do not have my white gloves. When I used to do my financial classes, I used to have my white gloves. But again, I label all of my silver and I have a couple of these. Okay. I grabbed the first ones that was filled. I have a couple of these. Now, these are 1 ounce silver. Okay. I'm just going to try to touch the edges. So bear with me. I'm going to try to just touch the edges. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to touch the edges here. So this is 1 ounce of silver. Now I have all sorts of different of these. I probably have another maybe 10 or 12 of these full of silver. The ones that in my safe that were closest to me don't have that many, as you're going to see when it comes to the gold. But nonetheless, these are, let me see if I can show that. There we go. These are Somalia 1 ounce. And it really doesn't matter what country. I kind of just do these very decorative silver coins. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to flip it. Okay. Silver is silver. Everything else is about the design. Okay. Silver is silver. Everything else is about the design. Okay. So hopefully you guys saw there's an elephant on that. I don't know if you saw the elephant. You guys can see it now. And then around it, it says Somali Republic, 100 shillings. But again, it has nothing to do with Somalia. Is this 1 ounce? And that is the decorative design because I have South Africa, I have America with the eagle, I have all of those. These are the ones I could reach. Now, when it comes to the gold, yeah, I don't have that many gold. I have maybe 5 of these full. This is my 6th one. I had this maybe 1.5 in here, but I'll show you this gold coin. And I always was telling people, invest in gold and silver at least, okay? Because gold prices, again, are skyrocketing. Let me show you this gold piece here. And again, for those precious metal enthusiasts, okay, this is 1 ounce, 1 ounce fine gold. What else does it state? United States of America, in God we trust. And I'll show you this. I'll show you this. Give me 1 second. And here we go. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you guys can see the coin. I know there's a reflection. Let me see if I can get this light out of here. If you guys can see that. And then on the back, if you guys can read that. So that's one gold coin. Okay, one gold coin. So again, I keep these, and people always talk about generational wealth and things of that nature. Again, some people do pictures. I rather do precious metals because the rare silver and gold becomes, the more valuable it becomes. Okay, the more value it becomes, because currently, I'm gonna show you guys, gold hit record peaks. So for every 1 ounce of gold, here we go. For every 1 ounce of gold, it is worth 2,956. So right here, right in front of your eyes, this is roughly about $3,000. Okay, $3,000. Okay. Now, I didn't have this already popped up, but I will look at the silver. What are the silver prices? Okay, silver 1 ounce price. Let's see. So $33.45. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Let's give me 1 second. I'm doing the math right here. So right here is only around $340. $340. Okay. And if you notice, I have all of them labeled as I told you before. All my gold is in American, is an American Eagle. Okay, American Eagle bullion. But nonetheless, again, that's why I tell you guys to go ahead and not just invest in, whether you're going to use Robinhood, Webull, whether you're going to use like stocks. Also invest in precious metal, meaning obtain those precious metals. Okay. But again, you can do it in different forms. I just showed you 3 different investments. I showed you the silver dollar that is worth 1 ounce of silver, 1 ounce of gold. Okay. And then ounces of silver. Yeah, you don't just get the news here. You get financial information at the end sometimes, okay? But let me show you one more thing. We're going to hop here to immigration. And this particular bid is coming from one of our brothers, Black Alpha. Shout out to Black Alpha. Let me make sure I like and repost this. Support him and his Twitter account there. But this is something that I want you guys to understand, because the Jamaican Prime Minister blatantly came out stating that when you come back to Jamaica, when you guys get deported from America, don't bring crime back to Jamaica. So he understood that a lot of people who went to America, and I'm not saying all Jamaicans, I'm not saying the majority of Jamaicans, I'm saying a lot of Jamaicans brought crime to Jamaica. And most places that a lot of Jamaicans went, a lot of them went to New York, New Jersey, DC, a lot of those East Coast places, okay, Florida, etc. But let me let you guys listen in on what the Jamaican Prime Minister said, if you don't mind here. Give me 1 second.
Who intend to come back with crime and violence to undermine what we have been building here. Let me be clear to you that this is not the Jamaica that you left 10 or 20 years ago. It is not the JCF that you left 10 or 20 years ago. You will either meet a judge or your maker if you come back to Jamaica and violate our laws and create havoc. I know that there are many who will be returning to Jamaica, coming back to lovely communities like these, rural areas like these. And they may attempt to set up gangs, get involved in scamming, and undermine the values of the communities that they return to. We will not tolerate that. Come back with a good heart and a good mind. Come back willing to work. Come back with your resources. You will be able to make life here. But don't come back here to undermine and destroy what we have built.
Okay, respect to the Prime Minister of Jamaica. He said, don't bring your crime back to Jamaica, or you will meet your maker, or you will meet a judge. So basically he's saying, we're going to kill you, or you're going to be in jail for a very long time. And believe it or not, El Salvadorian president, he has inspired and motivated a lot of countries in the Caribbean Central America, and they're cracking down on crime. So again, places that you always wanted to go, like I wanted to go to El Salvador, but I wasn't going to go there with MS-13. Hell no. But now we're looking at trips to go to Salvador. And we've been to Jamaica, and a lot of their tourist spots. Jamaica is perfectly safe and fine. They don't allow a lot of the riffraff happening. But again, they're cracking down on crime as well, as they should. And he stated, a lot of you guys went to America and you guys been in crime for 10, 15, 20 years, causing havoc on the American people. Don't come back to Jamaica. You're going to meet your maker or you're going to be in jail. I'm going to read some of your comments here very quickly. Ricky states that Ukraine is not in a position to fight. Right now, they're not. They don't have any of the cars. That's what President Trump said, right? The only thing that Russia is going to do is wait for Trump to leave office and then back. Yep, absolutely. DT Pointer, your position on Russia is misinformed. You'll be well served to consider the opinions of Jeffrey Sachs, George Galloway, and Douglas McGregor. What am I misinformed about? What am I misinformed about? You don't think that Russia is trying to possibly reconstruct the Soviet Union? You don't believe that they're trying to regain land? And don't forget, the Soviet Union was not created by Russia. It was actually created by Ukraine. So when you say I'm misinformed, please inform me of my misinformation. So again, I can correct myself or you. The only currency that would be valid in case of the apocalypse is food and ammo. I will raise you one, Ricky, and I would say, other than food and ammo, the most important currency is water, drinking water, that is. Got my brother here. Peace to you as well, King. DT Pointer, as the value of the dollar decreases, the value of commodities will increase. I agree. I was wanting those illegals to be shipped back to their countries. Right. Again, I don't know if you guys saw a story about Newsweek. Again, all the news that I read each and every day, I don't post it, okay, because I got to reconstruct the message and put it in the way that I speak. But Newsweek came out with a story stating that it's going to that America is spending $16 million to deport or transfer or transport those immigrants from Guantanamo Bay back to the U.S., okay? Jamaica is a whole. Jamaica is very beautiful. Jamaica is very beautiful. It do have some undesirable parts, but Jamaica is very beautiful. Again, their tourist industry, where their tours and their resorts and everything is very, very beautiful. And I've been to a lot of these Caribbean countries outside of the tourist areas. Yes, pretty much undesirable to a certain degree, but they do have rich areas which are really nice. But again, that's too far in between. Okay. Volvo states, did you see that Sean lost his seat in Belize? I did not see that. I do recall Sean being a politician there. Ricky states, I can make clean drinking water from the rain. God damn it, Ricky. Ricky, what if it doesn't rain? And what if it acid rain? Again, I know that it rains all the time, but you have to wait till it rains, and you have to, again, I think Ricky is going to get a barrel, and he's going to put a t-shirt over the barrel. And so when the rain, and it's going to soak through his shirt, it's going to be a filtration system. It's a makeshift filtration system. But again, I promise you this, if you don't have water, you can't feed your animals. I mean, you can't, hydrate your animals. You can't water your crops. You can't water yourself. Again, if somebody say, hey, I'll give you 3 days worth of food or 3 days worth of water, which one you're going to take? I'm going to take the water. Because again, you can eat all the food and the food is just going to dehydrate you if you don't have water. And if you're smart, you want a couple of salt tablets because water necessarily doesn't hydrate you. It's the sodium in water, in pH level water, alkalinity water that absorbs inside your cells and hold them inside your cell. Because without sodium, you guys ever like me? I'm always drinking. You guys see me probably pop this up. I'm always drinking water, but in this water, I have two things. I have salt tablets and I have hydrogen tablets. So that's why I'm always full of energy and zeal. But nonetheless, you guys have a great and wonderful day. Last comment here. I live in South Carolina. I also have access to boat. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you have a pot so you can boil all that salt water and you don't get algae in it. But again, maybe you eat sushi. I don't know. You guys have a great, wonderful day. This is Black.